The following is a presentation of Spark Study Club. To see our course library and claim your free lifetime membership, visit sparkstudyclub.com today. Enjoy the podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Adrienne with Spark Study Club, and today we are joined by Dr. Joshua Solomon, who has an upcoming CE webinar titled Earlier Detection, Better Outcomes, Integrating AI and Light-Based Imaging for Non-Invasive Caries Management. It's on May 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and you can register for this webinar at sparkstudyclub.com. So let's get to know Dr. Joshua Solomon a little bit better.
Good
Dr.
morning.
Solomon graduate, thank you for joining us. So you're a graduate of the University of Pacific with a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences and a Doctor of Dental Surgery. You went on to complete an additional 2-year specialty residency at the University of Texas Dental Branch, Houston, and a master's program in conjunction with the Department of Oral Biomaterials. Dr. Solomon is a diplomat of the American Board of Pediatric Dentistry and a fellow of the American College of Pediatric Dentistry. And when he's not treating patients in his office, he is the owner-director of the BioClear Pediatric Learning Center at the Dental Specialty Training Center, and you serve as a full faculty at the BioClear Learning Center in Tacoma, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Solomon.
Thank you for having me. I know that was a long intro.
It was good. You got a lot going on for sure.
I
So thank
do.
you for joining us. So let's get right into questions. Pretty basic to start. How did you become interested in pediatric dentistry?
So I'm a second generation pediatric dentist. So my heart always goes out to those pediatric dentists or dentists who had to start from scratch. I grew up around pediatric dentistry. My dad had two busy pediatric offices. And so I was able during the summers to work with him. So I was pretty much around it my whole life. And that was amazing because I had training early on. Even in high school, I started working in the office. So it's something I've been around my entire life. And he just retired 10 years ago.
Oh, so it just naturally became a passion of yours.
It did. Yeah, it did. He always told me, if you want to do something else, please go do it. But I fell in love with dentistry. I fell in love with the
Oh,
specialty of pediatrics. And for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, I've added the education portion of my career. So it has been an amazing career so far. So I appreciate you having me today.
yeah, absolutely. Full circle. So was there a specific event that shaped your career or just overall everything?
I would say as far as the education part of my career, I think it was going out to Tacoma and hearing Dr. David Clark at BioClear talk about changing the way that we prepare teeth. Dentistry, at least when I went to dental school, and most dental schools are still teaching having to drill holes in teeth the same way they did in the 1800s at GV Black. And to hear someone progress so far using microscopes, talking about minimally invasive dentistry, prep design, completely changing the way that we use composite and modernizing preps, that really, I would say, as far as the education goes and me teaching other dentists, that was over a decade ago. That really was the big seminal moment for me to realize, all the things that we learned in school, the base was great, but there's so much other things to learn. And I try to do that today. I try to take concepts that I've learned from other places and integrate all of those ideas into, an easy to teach prescriptive method of dentistry. And that's why I love to do podcasts like this or webinars or hands-on courses, because it's busy being a practice owner, right? It's hard running a practice, especially post-COVID. So I always appreciate study clubs like Spark that are really going through the whole profession and grabbing different practitioners, different specialties or general dentists. I mean, I look through all the courses that you offer, and the amount of knowledge base that you're bringing to your study club members is amazing. So, it's getting harder and harder to travel. So these type of webinar-based study clubs or podcasts are absolutely crucial for dentistry. So I just appreciate that you guys exist and you're doing this and you brought me on today.
I love the fact that you are like a next generation kind of dentist and that you're still very forward thinking, because sometimes you would think you just take on the identity of the practice that you were used to being around. But the fact that you're very forward thinking and love new technology and that kind of intrigues you is really good to hear because there is a lot of education in this space, and we're happy to be able to put out that information.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
so, talking about technology and artificial intelligence these days in the dental category, what's the biggest misconception about AI in the dental industry that you're seeing?
I think that the robots are going to take over the planet, and we're just going to put our phones in our mouth and hit a button and your teeth will be fixed and everything's good. It's a little worrisome how good AI has gotten, and just not in dentistry, but I don't have the things I see online. Is it real? Is it not? But the more that I actually use that technology, what I find is, and we're going to talk about this during the webinar, is it is much, the AI in dentistry for caries detection or for note taking. It's as much a tool to diagnose as it is a communication tool, right? Because more and more our patients are more selective. They're going online. They're, doing their research ahead of time. And gone are the days, I think, even when I started, where I could just bring up some grainy little x-ray, right, on a light box. You may not remember that in dentistry, but there's a little light box and you had this actual, film, and you put it up behind this light and you would take your little instrument, you'd point, okay, here's a dot, and nobody knew what you were seeing, right? They would just shake their head. But, the difference is now is I'll bring up one of my images from Pearl, and Pearl AI caries detection is built into my software, into my imaging, and patients and parents see color right away. So I want people to understand that AI is not here to take over your jobs. It is here to enhance both your clinical acumen and your communication skills. My acceptance rate for patients in my practice has always been very high, but I find I'm able just to communicate the process of, let's say cavity. Cavity is not just a hole in a tooth. It is a disease process throughout the mouth. And I find my patients are leaving much more motivated to take care of their teeth, because they're not just seeing little gray spots. They're seeing yellow and pink and red, and they can truly understand what's going on in their mouth. And something that I just integrated 2 weeks ago is with Pearl Voice is the note taking. And my very first patient, I did a 25-minute consultation. And at the end of that consultation, I would have had to normally go in and type out 15 minutes of notes. And I immediately hit stop, and I had in seconds a complete one-page summary of that entire conversation in logical order with correct terms, not changing what I said or what the patient said, but just in an organized fashion. And I was actually a little shocked. I think I probably sent out 15 text messages to my pediatric dental friends. And I said, you will not believe this. And it really is true. I mean, not only did that save me 15 minutes, but it was accurate. It was amazingly accurate. And I was able to take those notes, and I sent a Pearl AI image PDF with the x-rays and those notes to the parent. And then they were able to bring that home to the other parent and say, here's everything that we talked about. That would have been 15 minutes of notes. That could have been a phone call or a Zoom afterwards, because parents are busy these days. And it was packaged, ready to go, and it took me seconds. And just that day with the note taking, I must have saved myself 30, 40 minutes.
I was
Easy,
going to say the
easy.
time saving and being able to communicate better with your patient,
It
just
is a
bringing that right
complete
up.
game changer,
Yeah,
100%. And it's accurate.
absolutely. Very cool. And that just helps, that just helps with you to keep things consistent in your practice. So very cool. I love when you get so excited about a product. And I'm like this in dental, and I'm not even a dentist. I get so excited though, because I can see how much it can really help. So very, very nice.
Well,
So
thank you.
as far as incorporating, so we know you're incorporating that. What about light-based imaging? And what's your most important lesson that you've learned there with light-based imaging? It's another
So
tool.
I really feel like I'm at a point in my career where I can provide the most thorough new patient or recall exam that I
Mm,
have in the 25 years I've been in dentistry. Because
love
like I
that.
mentioned, when I first started, I had a light box and an x-ray. You went in this little room and you put,
Right.
it was filled with chemicals. It was awful, right? And then half the time you'd get a cone cut and you have to leave and 5 minutes later, right? But now I have digital x-ray, right, that is incredibly accurate. I have AI caries detection. And about, I would say, a year and a half ago, I saw Cabo's DiagnoCam and thought this is interesting, right? So I contacted Cabo. It wasn't something where they reached out to me as a speaker and said, "Hey, we want you to try our product."
Hmm.
I think I harassed them for like a week. I said, "I need to get one of these. Please call me." And then finally, I got a hold of them, and they didn't know who I was. And finally, I connected with them, and I now, between intraoral photographs, between AI carrier detection, between all three modes on my Diagnodent, I not only have a radiograph, I have a photograph, I have fluorescence, I have near infrared transillumination. And unless some other technology comes around where I don't even know yet, because it's probably just starting to be developed. There, I feel like I finally have all of the tools to not only diagnose in unbelievable precision, but be able to communicate that to our patients. Because it's one thing, you can have the best diagnostic equipment in the planet, but if your patient doesn't believe that what you're telling them, either that everything's great or no, there's some things that we need to address here. If a patient doesn't understand the importance, they're not going to sign that treatment plan and come back. So I could give them my opinion, but it's a two-purpose, double-edged sword, right? They actually need to buy into that. And
Right.
so that's why I get so excited about this, is because I don't feel like I'm guessing. In the first round of digital X-ray, when they first came out, honestly, we were guessing a little bit because it was just shadows. And when we look at AI, well, it was okay, but it's Gen 1, right? I mean, it was the very first, and we were talking 20 years ago, right? They were okay, but we were also putting amalgam in teeth at the time, right? So I feel like I have all of the tools and the equipment now to marry that diagnostic accuracy together. And that makes a big difference because I need to decide, am I going to drill a hole in this tooth or not? What we understand in the dental profession is I often have to make things worse before I make things better. Meaning that interproximally, if I have a class 2 lesion, if there's interproximal cavities, I have to find that little hole by making a big hole in a tooth. And that's a destructive process, right? There is a biological cost every time you drill into a tooth. And you know what? I don't want to drill into any teeth. I teach restorative dentistry. If I could never have to restore a tooth again with a restoration, with a crown, with a filling, I don't want to do it. And what we'll see during the webinar is to be as efficacious as possible with early treatment of decay. You've got to detect early. You can't do that just with your eyes.
Especially when you're working with a pediatric patient. There's not a whole lot there to work with to begin with. I
Right.
can
Or
only
with
imagine.
teens, I mean, right.
Hmm.
And we're the first in, right? I mean, I treat anywhere from 0 to 25, or once in a while I have an 80-year-old prosthodontist I'm doing restorative on. Mostly I'm treating kids and teens, but we're the first in, right? So if we perform a destructive procedure to try to repair that tooth, we've already lost the game. We've already made a big hole in that tooth and things are going to go down from there. And those are some of the things we're going to talk about in the webinar today is how I want to stop drilling holes in teeth. I mean, I just finished helping design a brand new burr concept to dentistry. And you know what? I don't want to use the thing if I don't have to, right? If I can diagnose early and treat with biomimetic medicaments for the teeth and repair that tooth naturally, I'm going to do that any day of the week.
Yes, yes, definitely love hearing that. So, with that said, where do you see pediatric dentistry in 5 years? Like, just
It's interesting. The quick summary is, I'll tell you what I hope happens. What I hope happens is people do watch and listen to the webinar because I really know we are on the cutting edge of changing dentistry. being able to detect and treat early and stop drilling holes in teeth, right? Now, we're always going to have to drill holes in teeth. I don't know, 20 years from now, we may have some laser or something, you hit a button and it just patient walks in and all the teeth are fixed. But at least for now, we still have to drill holes in teeth, and I don't want to do it anymore. So if we can make things like AI caries detection with Pearl, or using DiagnoCam, or have every single dentist in the US integrate CureDot into their practices, I'm going to be happy, because it's patients spend so much time and money just having teeth restored. Dental caries is the number one infectious disease for children in the United States. People don't always remember that.
Mhm.
And I don't want to restore teeth if I don't have to. So my hope is we are getting better and better with diagnostics. We are observing and treating caries earlier, light years earlier than we did before. And we build this generation of patients that really understand coming to the dentist, not eating Skittles 24 hours a day, and actually taking care of their teeth will make a difference in their health, and the parents will make a difference for their children's health.
Yeah, well, and it's expensive too, and
It's
getting
it's
something
expensive.
for the
Correct.
for the for the parents. So,
Correct.
or
It's
patients.
expensive to run a practice, and it's expensive for those parents and those patients. So I
Exactly.
want a win-win with everybody.
Exactly. Well, so anything else you want to touch on as far as the webinar? This will be an actual CE credit, so you can get CE credit while you are learning some great things about biomimetics and AI and all of the integrations that Dr. Solomon has. Is there anything else that you wanted
No,
to
I
talk
just hope,
about?
everybody joins us. I really am I get excited a lot about dentistry, but I spent so much of my career, and I still spend a lot of my career teaching people how to fix teeth. And this is such, well researched, but new to a lot of people. And I want to change hearts and minds in dentistry. And so I
Yes.
hope people give us a little bit of time and join. I think it will make a difference to your career. I really do.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for
Thank
this
you.
podcast. And hopefully, everyone listening will join us for the CE webinar titled Early Detection, Better Outcomes, Integrating AI and Light-Based Imaging for Non-Invasive Caries Management. Again, this is going to be on May 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Don't forget to register at sparkstudyclub.com, and we will see you there. I'm excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this podcast. To learn more about the topics discussed, please visit sparkstudyclub.com today and claim your free lifetime membership. Thanks again for listening, and we hope to see you again soon.